I did nail it. Okay, it's nice and browned on the bottom, and then she would do this thing where she would go. Today, I am sharing with you one of my family's favorite recipes that just happens to be big little. It hinges on 2 ingredients, comes together in a matter of minutes. My grandma makes it one way, my mom makes it another way. I make it my way, and that's what we're gonna do today. The only ingredients you'll need are matzah, eggs, plus big little staples, butter, salt, and water. So the first thing we have to do is soften our matzah because right now it is, do you hear that? It's crispy. So my grandma likes to do this by crumbling it into a bowl, covering in water, letting it sit, and then squeezing it out and draining it, which a lot of recipes do. I do it the way my mom does it, which is running it under a faucet. So I was counting to 15 in my head on each side. That gets you to the point, like a little saturated, a little spongy. And now you can crumble it into our bowl. So I'm using a whole wheat matzah here. Reason for that is the same reason that I would use whole wheat in like a bread or a cake or whatever you're baking with. I think it just has more flavor. Like because you are getting more parts of the wheat kernel, you are getting more flavors of the wheat kernel. And in this case, when matzah is like one of 2 ingredients in the recipes, I actually think it makes a really big difference. But if you can't find whole wheat matzah, no big deal. Classic works great. Okay, so I think like they don't have to be perfectly even. You wanna come see? Just like a crumbly little mixture. That's perfect. Our matzah is hydrated at this point, but I like to add even more water. This, I think, makes the eggs feel lighter and fluffier and sprightlier. It's just, let me look for 2 teaspoons. So like the tiniest bit of water makes the matzah feel even better. Little goes a long way. So this is a hotly debated topic in my family. What is your ratio of matzah to egg? My grandma likes to do 1 sheet of matzah to 1 egg. My mom has done 2 sheets of matzah to 1 egg. So you can see I am doing 2 eggs to 1 sheet of matzah, which my grandma was like, no. And my mom was like, that's not matzo brei, that's egg brei. But I think it's really good. Mom, if you're watching this, you should try it. It's delicious, you'll see. So I have my eggs in there and I'm just gonna beat them up with a fork. So a big pinch of salt makes everyone feel taken care of. And it also gets you set up if you wanna take your matzo brei in a savory or a sweet direction. The salt is good in both of those cases. Perfect. All right, now we're ready to cook. So I am using a whole tablespoon of butter for 1 serving of matzo brei. Maybe this seems like a lot. It is, and it's a good thing. We are gonna let it melt, and then we're gonna let it keep melting, and then it's gonna start browning, and it's gonna start smelling like toasted nuts, and it's gonna taste amazing, and it's gonna make the whole matzo brei taste even butterier, like peak buttery matzo brei, which if you ask me is like peak matzo brei period. So it's just gonna do its thing for a second. We're not gonna rush it. While this is melting, it is a perfect opportunity to subscribe to our YouTube channel for even more few ingredient recipes that my grandma would kind of approve of. So the thing with brown butter is it goes from being butter to brown butter like that. It's about to happen. Like you can smell it before you see it. You wanna come see, Justin? See how it's just starting to turn toasty? You see those little toasty bits? Do you smell it? Mm-hmm. Okay, this is. So now that it has just started browning, I'm gonna pour in my matzo brei mixture. So some people at this stage they would be scrambling it constantly. That would get you a matzo brei that is like a kind of akin to scrambled eggs. My family, we like to spread it out as thin as you can possibly get it. That means more crispy edges, and kind of treat it like a pancake. So I'm just swirling it around to make sure that all the butter soaks into the matzo brei. And I'm just gonna let it do its thing for a second. This is gonna take like a minute, so stay with it. Don't leave it alone. My mom and my grandma and I, we are all about the crispy edges, like a golden brown bottom. This shouldn't be pale. You want some color on it. Okay, so when it's ready to flip, my mom would always do this thing when my brother and I were kids where she would just like toss it in the air and then it would flip perfectly and my brother and I would like cheer. So that's what I'm gonna do. Shit, I'm so scared. Okay. Look, it's perfect. Okay. Do you have me a plate? Thank you. Okay, so if you were my grandma, you would get a pinch of salt and call it dinner. Or if you want to be a little bit extra, you could add any toppings you want, like more butter and maple syrup, sour cream and berry jam, avocado and hot sauce, or a sunny egg and sniffed chives. It is so much flavor in so few ingredients. Let me know in the comments what toppings you would put on your brown butter matzo brei, and I will talk to you next week.